A couple of weeks ago, I was on the phone talking to my sister who was on the bus home at the time, when, mid-conversation, she stopped what she was originally talking about to say, "Sorry, hang on a minute, I'm just trying to move seats because some guy keeps grabbing my leg." And she told me after she got off the bus later on that at first she assumed it was just an accident that this guy kept brushing his hand along her leg, that maybe she was just jumping to conclusions or making assumptions about something which was really nothing. Until this kept happening and she realised that this wasn't the case at all. That man, a random male on a city bus, was deliberately stroking his hand along the side of her thigh up towards her crotch. And obviously this made her feel really uncomfortable and almost violated, because what gave him the right, and how did he have the audacity to do this to a female who he didn't even know at all? To me, this was really difficult to hear and it made me feel physically sick. But it really made me think. And it made me think about the times things like this had happened to me, and I realised how often I'd overlooked them. Brushed them away, in fact, as if it's an occurrence in life that maybe we should just ignore and move on from. So triggered by this, I found myself asking the females around me if they'd experienced situations like this. I asked my girlfriends, both older and younger than me, I asked my mum, and I asked myself. Have you ever found yourself in situations where a man has made you feel vulnerable, or has approached you in a way that made you feel uncomfortable, either verbally or physically, or made a comment towards you, directly or indirectly? And I can't say I expected these women to tell me that this had never happened to them, but I can't say I expect them to tell me that it happened to them almost every single day either. All of the women I spoke to told me that they had experienced situations like this countless times, situations where men had made comments about their body either directly to them or to someone else, as if they weren't there at all, or situations where they'd been approached and harassed, either verbally or physically, and in some cases these women even told me how they'd been followed. And this could simply be on a trip into town, or walking through a mall, or just in the workplace, or even on public transport. And when I asked what they did or how they reacted, most of these people said nothing. I just tried to carry on what I was doing, or I tried not to make a big deal of it because, it's not worth the trouble. Around the same time that I was asking these women around me about their experiences, a video was posted on the internet that quickly went viral. And in this video, a woman had secretly filmed herself for a whole day as she walked the streets of New York City to record and show just how many times she found herself subject to public harassment, such as catcalls or advances made by males. Throughout the course of the day, she found that she received over 100 catcalls, and at points found herself being followed. However, the backlash which she received from this video was horrific. Not only was she blamed for what she experienced by people saying that it was her own fault because of what she was wearing, or that these men were simply paying her compliments, but that she deserved to be raped. It quickly became apparent to me that this isn't a little issue which can be ignored any longer. So after hearing this, I decided to do some wider research into the harassment which women face in public. And I found that in the US, 65% of all women have experienced street harassment of some kind. 20% of women have been followed at some point, not just making them feel uncomfortable, but actually scared. Scared for their own safety and for their own life. But what shocked me more is that 23% of women have been sexually touched without giving permission for the man to do so, and 9% have even been forced into doing something sexual. Clearly, this isn't okay, but the fact that this is an issue which is affecting so many women almost every day in their lives indicates that this is something which is being overlooked. And now is the time to change that. It's time to recognise that this is not okay or normal for women to be harassed in this way at all. It's time to stop blaming women, to understand that they are not putting themselves in these situations by the clothes they choose to wear. Now is the time to stop overlooking this issue and make people realise that this is a huge problem that needs to be acknowledged. And we can all help in making this serious issue known. So I'm asking you for your help. I am asking you to be the person who tells a friend that it isn't okay for them to shout sexual comments about the way a random woman looks as she walks down the street. I'm asking you to be the person who steps up and says to the man feeling the young woman's leg on the bus that, no, he doesn't have a right to do that at all. I'm asking you to be the person who tells their friend that it isn't normal, or okay, or acceptable to be verbally abused in the street by the comments and remarks made by men as she walks by their car. I'm asking you to be the person who speaks out about your experiences, and to encourage others who had similar encounters to speak up and let their voice be heard. I'm asking you to be the person who helps make people realise that this is an issue which cannot be ignored any longer. I'm asking you to be a part of the voice as we stand together as one that will make people listen. I'm asking you to be a part of the change.